All right, well, it is time to take a trip back in time, back to the start of the 2008 recession. My next guest was in her mid-30s, single, underemployed, and ready for a change. She decided to hit the road on a bicycle from Eugene, Oregon to Washington, D.C. Her new book, Heidi Across America, details her journey across the heartland and what she learned along the way. Welcome to New Day, Heidi Beierle. It's so good to see you.
Thank you. It's lovely to be here.
I love this whole idea about your book. By the way, congratulations on almost early book release day.
Thank you.
It's tomorrow, right?
Tomorrow. Big
Wow,
day.
Big day. So where did you get the idea to go, you know what, things aren't going great, I'm going to take a cross-country bike ride? Like, where did that come from?
Well, it did start from being in this really dark place of feeling like, oh, I need a change. And that prompted me to go to school. And I thought I would hide out during the recession at school and get a ticket to a degree that would give me opportunities after the recession. And I went back to school, and it really just kind of made my loneliness worse, my feelings of like this wasn't the right thing to do. And in that down place, all I really wanted to do was ride my bike. Like that felt like the cozy.
That's all you were there. That's what really kept you going.
Well, it felt like the cozy, comfortable thing that I could do. It would sort of fix all the problems. And at the end of my first term, so it was in December of 2009, I got this email from my mom, and she said, oh, here's this conference, Preserving the Historic Road. It's in Washington, D.C. in September. We could go and hang out with my uncle who lived there. And I thought about it a moment, and I thought, well, that's nice, but not really sound like the thing I want to do. But then I got thinking about it, and I thought, well, if it's in September, then I could actually spend the whole summer riding my bike out there. And so I wrote this kind of flip email, and I was like, sure, I'll ride my bike out there and meet you. And then as soon as I sent it, I was like,
oh my gosh, I'm going to.
What a great idea.
So, okay, now I have so many logistical questions about this. So you've never done anything like this before, I'm assuming, never done like a long bike ride?
Not of that scale, no.
Okay, so how long did you travel in a day?
Well, it changed depending on the part of the country I was in. Okay. So 90 to 75 miles approximately while I was in the western states, and then when I hit the flats, it turned into more like 50 miles a day.
Okay, where did you stop and eat? I mean, did you have food with you? Did you find a diner? Like, how did that work?
Well, I was studying bicycle tourism and rural economic development, so I was really invested in spending money in the communities. So I made a point of eating at the restaurants or cafes when I got into little towns. I did have some snacks with me. And because I was studying bicycle tourism, I just kind of explored what the options were for lodging. So again,
because I'm assuming you weren't sleeping out under the great stars every night.
I could, but I didn't do that very often.
Yeah. Very often, so you did.
I did.
Okay. What about terrain? I mean, well, what about like the challenging weather? I'd imagine that in the summer we've got either monsoon season in Arizona or we've got tornado season. I mean, I don't really know exactly what route you took, but had to be some weather.
Yeah, well, I thought tornadoes might be the problem that I encounter, and it wasn't tornado season at that time.
That's good news.
But what I really encountered was heat, which was a kind of invisible catastrophe.
Oh. Was there ever a time you felt like giving up, or what kept you moving forward?
Well, I absolutely thought about giving up at certain times. It was amazing how fresh I would feel in the morning after taking a shower and having some rest. So that was one way that I kind of kept going. Soft serve with Oreos was another motivator. And the deadline to present at this conference was the big thing that kept moving me forward because I had somewhere to be.
Along the way, you were surprised by the kindness of humans, which I think we all could use a little bit of right now. Will you share an example?
Well, I was out in the desolate space of Wyoming. There's nothing out there. And I had just stopped at what could be considered a town, but was really just a rest area. And so I was feeling pretty good, but I was really kind of spaced out. It's just a big open space, and I was kind of losing a little bit of touch with with myself. I kind of felt dissolved into like this big space.
Ooh, yeah, that's
I was
can be
kind
a
of
little scary.
having a psychological moment.
Yeah.
I stopped at a roadside interpretive sign, and somebody else pulled into the stop at the same time I was there, a woman in a Prius, and she got out and she asked me, "Are you okay? Do you need any water?"
Oh.
And I had just refilled my water, so I was all right, but I wasn't okay, you know. And she's
Right.
like, "Do you want some blueberries?" And I was
Aw.
like, "Sure, I'll have some blueberries." And you know, we talked a little bit, and I ate the blueberries, and I think she was just kind of really checking on me to make sure I was okay.
Yeah.
And after I finished the blueberries, she got back in her car and continued on.
I love that. I love that. Sometimes it just takes a few blueberries. That's a beautiful message. And I know there's so many more beautiful messages in this book. And I know you all have so many more questions, but you're going to have to get the book, Heidi Across America. Heidi, thank you so much.
Thank you so much for having me here.
Absolutely.